Yo, 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 yo.
Yo, 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 what up, guys? Hip Hop Hearts, UV.
Yo, yo, yo,
So I
what up,
came across
guys?
this Jay-Z and Beyonce Conspiracies Explained. And this shit is crazy.
Year 2000. Jay-Z and Beyonce began dating in 2001, when Beyonce was 19 and Jay-Z was 31, which was already a little strange right off the bat. Regardless, both of them were already fairly successful as artists. Jay-Z had multiple successful albums out, had hit the Billboard charts a few times, and had also worked with artists like Mariah Carey, Biggie, and Kanye. He also created his record label Rockefeller Records. Around the same time, Beyonce was coming up with Destiny's Child, and they also had their fair share of chart topping hits. And despite the crazy amount of success that they already had, as I'm sure most of you guys know, they went on to become some of the biggest artists ever. With Jay Z becoming a huge music mogul aside from his personal success as an artist, I mean, Jay Z's been called the greatest rapper of all time by multiple publications, and Beyonce has been named one of the greatest vocalists and entertainers of all time as well. So these two were destined to become a power couple, and that's exactly what they became. The two have collaborated on multiple songs over the years, which helped both of their careers. Jay-Z has released iconic albums like The Blueprint and 444. He's also had many successful business ventures over the years, with his companies like Rockaware and the 4040 Club, along with his acquisition of Tidal. On top of that, Rockefeller has helped to produce artists like Kanye, Cameron, Beanie Siegel, Jadakiss, and more. Because of all of this, Jay-Z became hip-hop's first billionaire and most recently has an estimated net worth of $2.5 billion dollars. He's one of the best selling artists of all time and has won 24 Grammys. On the flip side, Beyonce has put out tons of extremely successful albums and is the only woman in history to have 20 top 10 songs as a solo artist and 10 as a member of a group. She, like Jay Z, is also one of the best selling artists of all time, selling over 200 million copies, and she's also won 32 Grammys. Jay Z and
Wow.
Beyonce got married in 2008. Their first child was born in 2012, and they had twins in 2017. Because of their immense success and their success stories and all of that, their relationship has been coveted by the public for quite a while. It's clear that they were a power couple as they were two of the most successful artists and business people of all time when it came to Hollywood. And when you are this powerful and successful, you are bound to have some conspiracy theories following you around. For years, one of the main theories was that Jay-Z and Beyonce were members of the Illuminati. This theory, of course, was supported by very shaky evidence, at least at its inception. For example, one of the main reasons was that Jay-Z and Beyonce would throw up a triangle symbol, which, if you remember a decade ago, was heavily associated with the Illuminati and the all-seeing eye. I mean, back in middle school, I remember every meme was like Illuminati confirmed with the X-Files music and the triangle in the background. In reality, though, this hand sign is supposed to be a diamond that references his label Rockefeller, because a diamond is a rock, if you know what I mean. So, a lot of people just call it throwing up the rock. Regardless, Jay and Beyonce throwing this up has raised eyes from theorists, especially when Beyonce threw that up during her Super Bowl performance in 2013. On
Mm.
top of
Oh yeah, she known for throwing in all the signs.
that, some of their imagery in their music
All
videos has
the
also garnered
signs.
some attention. For example, in the music video for Jay-Z's song On to the Next One, there's imagery like crucifixes and skulls that resemble Baphomet, which many people think is referencing the Illuminati or Jay-Z selling a soul. Beyonce has also been suspected of this stuff for similar reasons. For example, some people believe that playing her song Single Ladies backwards reveals a bunch of meanings like the world will bow to me, people's tears will fall. I mean, some of the comments on this video just go to show how many
What? The world, what does it say? The world will bow to me. Are you serious? Let's look that up. Single ladies play backward. Hidden message. That's on TikTok. Fuck TikTok. Beyonce was accused of witchcraft and being a part of the Illuminati because of the music video for Single Ladies. What? Hold on. Alright, let's watch it real quick. Oh damn! Everybody's coming out with Jay-Z and Beyonce. What the hell? Is she really saying that? Wait, hold up. Did y'all hear that, chat? Is anybody in here, man? Oh my god, that's crazy. She said the world will bow to me. So what does that mean, though? That's fucking nuts. Let's get back to it.
Will bow to me, people's tears will fall. I mean, some of the comments on this video just go to show how many crazy things people were thinking. And I'm going to interject my opinion here real quick. When you play a song backwards and someone tells you what to like hear, you're probably going to hear that thing. That's
I
just
feel
how
that, Matty Ball. That makes
the whole
sense.
meaning and moral thing. So
I don't know.
that's not
The
good
world
evidence.
will bow to me. That shit sounded pretty clear. That's
Regardless, for this and her other imagery, people thought she too was in the Illuminati. On top of all of that stuff, a lot of people point to this clip of Kanye calling out Jay-Z, asking Jay not to kill him, and instead asking Jay to call him.
I've been sent here to give out my truth, even at the risk of my own life, even at the risk of my own success, my own career. I've been sent here to give y'all the truth. Jay-Z called me, boy. You still ain't called me. Jay-Z called me. Hey, bro, Jay-Z, I know you got killers. Please don't send them out my head. Just call me. Talk to me like a man.
This clip was taken from Kanye's notorious St. Pablo tour, where he said a lot of other crazy and controversial things, all of which led to him canceling multiple shows and going to a mental health hospital. Kanye has since claimed that they, or a group of elites, possibly involved with Jay-Z, have had him medicated under the guise of bipolar disorder to keep him quiet. And to be entirely fair to this part of the theory, the text messages from Kanye's trainer are definitely very strange, and this wasn't the last time that Kanye had spoke on Jay-Z either, as more recently he talks about the elites controlling it.
And they can control Shaq. They can control Charles Barkley. They can control LeBron James. They can control Jay-Z and Beyonce. Come on, you, man. But they can control me. See, it ain't no name I won't name. It's up.
But we're getting ahead of ourselves, because Kanye's comments really fueled these conspiracy theories about Jay-Z back in 2016. It got to the point where both Jay-Z and Beyonce commented on the Illuminati stuff, with Jay-Z saying on the song Freemason, "I said that I was amazing, not that I'm a Mason." He also said, "Am I down with the devil because my roof come up missing? Is that Lucifer juicing that 2 cup he's sipping?" Basically, he was saying that people were pinning his success on his ties to a group like the Illuminati, or suggesting that he sold his soul to the devil, and clearly he doesn't agree with this stuff. Beyonce also said in one of her songs, "Y'all haters corny with that Illuminati mess." Regardless, these theories theories of Jay-Z and Beyonce belonging to a group of shady elites have evolved even further today, with many people suggesting that they were up to even darker practices, more so than just
Oh
putting weird
shit, The
symbols
Rock.
in the music videos. Which brings us back to the beginning of their relationship in 2001. At this point in the video, I do want to say a lot of this stuff I'm going to be talking about is just conspiracy theories and the stuff I have talked about. There really isn't much solid proof to a lot of what I'm going to say. And I'm saying this because a lot of the things they're accused of are extremely serious, and I don't want to be the guy who just levies random accusations with no basis. And I'm not telling you guys what to think. I'm not saying that none of this is true or none of it isn't true. But I just want to give you guys the actual facts so that you can make your own decisions and conclusions. You'll see why I'm saying this here in a second. And this is because one of the main theories lately that's being suggested about Beyonce is actually some sort of evil mastermind who wants to control and dominate the female music industry. At least that's kind of what people seem to be getting at, so let me explain. Back when people were accusing a couple of being members of the Illuminati, they also made darker assumptions that Beyonce was linked to the death of the rising singer Aaliyah. Rolling Stone
What?
said,
No
the
way.
far reaches of the internet even linked Beyonce's rise to fame with R&B singer Aaliyah's untimely death in 2001, with theories claiming that Aaliyah was killed because she had tried to get out from under the Illuminati's control. According to that narrative, Aaliyah was meant to be the rightful queen of the music industry, but after her death, Beyonce stepped in to take her place. And this is the thing about these theories, sometimes they include like the Illuminati, sometimes they don't, sometimes it's just like the shady elites. And I think in general they're interchangeable. Theorists have also pointed to J. Cole's song She Knows from 2013 when he referenced Beyonce, Aaliyah, and Left Eye, one of the members of TLC who tragically passed away in a car crash in 2002. And while the mention doesn't have any direct correlation to the theory on the song, people often point out how both Aaliyah and Left Eye, supposed competitors of Beyonce around that time, passed away in 2001 and 2002 respectively. This idea that Beyonce is now queen of the music industry has resurfaced recently with all of the P. Diddy
That's
stuff
crazy.
that's coming out, thanks to people like Cat Williams and Jaguar Wright, who are claiming that a lot of industry secrets are going to be exposed.
All of these big deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is. TD Jakes, any of them. All lies will be exposed. That's all.
With this idea in mind, a lot of people have been saying that female artists in particular are forced to thank Beyonce when they win awards, typically Grammys, out of fear. It may have something to do with the fact that Beyonce, despite winning 32 Grammys, has yet to win Album of the Year. So people online have been putting together these compilations of artists thanking Beyonce.
Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time. One of the best videos of all time.
Beyonce, amazing. Yeah.
The fact that Beyonce made a country record changed the game. Beyonce.
That's crazy.
Beyonce and I started out around the same time, and just like all of her fans, I fell in love with her.
Again, these theories so far don't hold much weight and are just speculation, especially because of what people think may happen if the artists don't thank her. For example, there was a tweet posted to Twitter with nearly 600,000 likes from the artist Sia. The tweet reads, "Baby, everything your own nice cat eats, kangaroo is dead, nowhere and purple penguins every day, my egg." Which,
What? Wait. What the fuck? See ya, baby, everything your own nice cat eats. Kangaroo is dead, nowhere, and purple penguins every day, my egg. And it says, and so every first letter, they're saying every first letter of each word in that post spells out Beyonce kidnapped me.
obviously doesn't make any sense, but it spells out Beyonce kidnapped me if you take the first letter of each word. To be fair though, this
That's crazy.
History is fake, it was photoshopped, and it became a meme. So far we've just looked at conspiracy theories that really don't seem to have any legs to them. But after P. Diddy was recently exposed and indicted, a lot of people have been making much more serious and somewhat grounded accusations against Jay-Z and Beyonce. People believe that over the years, Jay-Z's connections to R. Kelly and P. Diddy mean that he at the very least knew about some of the stuff they were up to, and possibly was even involved. Especially when lawyers involved in Diddy's case right now are saying things like this.
The day will come when we will name names other than Sean Thompson. There's a lot of names. It's a long list already. And of course, I already know who some of these individuals are. But because of the nature of this case, we're going to make damn sure that we're right before we do that. But the names that we're going to name, assuming that our investigators confirm and corroborate what we've been told, are names that will shock you.
That lawyer even went on to say that there would be some eyebrow-raising names, which is why people think Jay-Z is involved. Diddy and Jay-Z have been friends since the 90s, when they were both growing up in the music industry. They even collaborated on a track in 1997. On top of that, these two were connected to Aaliyah and R. Kelly, who were married when Aaliyah was only 15. Dame Dash, who co-founded Rockefeller Records with Jay-Z and dated Aaliyah when she was actually of age, said he thought it was morally wrong for Jay-Z to do a collab album with R. Kelly when he did. Dame said, it's morally wrong to do a project with someone that we know is my girl or anybody for that matter. He also said Jay-Z tried getting with Aaliyah too.
I think Jay was trying to get at it as well, and I didn't know. And then like it got brought up, and I was like, yeah. And but it never worked out for them, and we were both like trying to get at her. I kind of eased up, but then we ran into each other. It's a long story.
So you and Jay was both getting at Aaliyah. Obviously,
Everybody was getting at Aaliyah.
Right.
So there undoubtedly was some shady stuff going down in their circle, as both Diddy and R. Kelly were friends with Jay, and it's possible Jay knew some of the stuff that was going down. By 2007, Jay-Z and Diddy had been friends for a while, and in a performance at Screamfest, Diddy could be seen smacking Jay's butt a couple of times. Now, I personally don't think this holds that much weight in these theories like some other people do. Lots of friends tend to joke with each other like this, but to be fair, Diddy has been a little bit liberal in some of his jokes. However, 50 Cent took this as an opportunity, as he always does, to clown on the two. It's hard to say how good of friends Diddy and Jay-Z are, but they have been seen together hanging out over the years plenty, so it's safe to assume they're at the very least well acquainted. That's why when all of this news began coming out against Diddy lately, people pointed out how quiet Jay-Z was. Also, if you're unaware of what happened with Diddy somehow, I made a whole video on it so you guys can check that out if you want to. But basically, Diddy was caught trafficking, racketeering, essaying multiple people, and things along those lines. He was indicted and actually has over 100 lawsuits against him. So Jay-Z's silence on this matter has had a lot of people looking at him sideways. 50 Cent even made a joke about it, as he always does, on his Instagram saying, anybody seen Jay? Fuck that he ain't been answering his phone. He's commented more in interviews saying that people who aren't talking about it are probably scared because they were involved.
You have something huge coming up, which is a documentary about P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, P. Diddy.
Yeah.
Did he do it, right?
Yeah.
I know
He did it.
you've been heavy on
No,
social
he
media
did it.
talking about it.
He did it. I'm the only one who's been vocal about this long before it actually.
Oh, you've been saying this for a long time now. And then no one was, they just widely saying this, and now it's coming out like crazy.
But I also didn't participate. I also didn't go to this part.
Yeah.
So a lot of the celebrity culture that you don't hear saying anything is because they participate.
So this is why many people have been pointing the finger at Jay-Z and Beyonce, suspecting they had some sort of involvement in the Diddy situation. Things got even more serious in the past 2 weeks when Piers Morgan had Jaguar Wright, a singer who's worked with Jay-Z, on his show to discuss the Diddy situation. During this interview, she brought up her opinion on Jay-Z and Beyonce's suspected involvement.
Dream Hampton spearheaded the Surviving R. Kelly campaign, which it fueled the Me Too campaign. And that was all funded by Sean Carter to make sure that Robert Kelly went to jail. Did his lick back. Why is nobody understanding that Dream Hampton was being financed and ran by Sean Carter? They were able to go and get all of these witnesses because he was there with Robert Kelly. How does Jay-Z sit down with Gayle King and she not ask him one question about the intersection between him and Aaliyah and Robert Kelly? This is insane that people keep refusing to see see what's right there.
To be clear, I couldn't find any articles that said that Jay-Z funded this docuseries, although I did see a few articles saying that Jay-Z declined to be interviewed for the show. He also said in this interview that Jay-Z and Beyonce are a nasty couple who do nasty things. Now, before I tell you what followed, I do think it's important to explain to you who Jaguar Wright is. Like I said, she's a singer who, despite putting out her own solo music, is probably most known for working with people like Jay-Z and The Roots. In the past 5 or so years, she has been making headlines quite often for making a variety of claims, like saying that Mary J. Blige was hiding her true sexuality, and she accused Common of essaying her, which got to the point where Common had to step in and make a statement.
To say this, man, God bless Jaguar. I really don't have any negative thoughts towards her. I was for surely disappointed and hurt when she said what she said about me because it wasn't true. And I know people that have experienced for assault, and that's not anything that just say this is not true. But I also just understand that she may be going through some things that I don't understand.
Over the years, she's made a ton of claims, and in 2020 had an interview with Real Life Productions that has over 2 million views where she is making tons of similar claims. And based on the reception, it looks like a ton of people believe her. In 2022, she even made the claim that Diddy forced a singer to perform fellatio on him. And keep in mind, this was over a year before people were constantly coming out with similar claims about P. Diddy. So there's two things that could be happening. Jaguar Wright could have a deep knowledge of the music industry and its darkest secrets, or she could just be making as many accusations and claims as possible, and occasionally getting some of them right. Someone on Reddit said she might be right about some of the stuff regarding Diddy, but I'm guessing a lot of it was already known in the music industry. And even a broken clock like Jaguar Wright is right twice a day. And similar to this person's perspective, many people in the actual music industry have written her off as mentally ill. Recently, she was arrested in Dallas for property theft totaling between $30,000 and $150,000, and claimed it was due to her speaking out, according to Vibe. So that's the important background information about Jaguar Wright. And after she went on Piers Morgan and made those claims about Jay-Z and Beyonce, she started a fire. It got to the point that Piers Morgan was reached out to by Jay-Z and Beyonce's lawyers. The lawyer said, Piers Morgan's irresponsible broadcast filled with lies is so far over the line that a legal ultimatum is warranted. Nobody acting under the guise of journalism can elicit outrageous statements from exploitative situations in an effort to drive clicks, and not have to answer for that. Because of this, Piers Morgan apologized and trimmed this segment from the show.
Well, last week I interviewed Jaguar Wright, a singer-songwriter who's made claims about Diddy for years. Those claims have all received a lot of attention in the media across many platforms for many years. And that's the thing about platforms. The reality of the modern world is that pretty much everyone has a platform as long as there's something to say that other people want to hear. That's why we invite her on to be interviewed. The people making these claims have an audience with or without shows like mine. Well, Jaguar Wright unexpectedly made several serious allegations about Jay-Z and Beyonce during that interview. As I said in the moment, they were not present to respond or defend themselves, but now they have. Their lawyers contacted us to say that those claims were totally false and have no basis in fact, and we therefore comply with the legal request to cut them from the original interview. Editing interviews is not something we do lightly at a show called Uncensored. But, like the proverbial cries of fire in a crowded theatre, there are legal limits on us too. We apologise to Jay-Z and Beyonce.
Again, there are two ways to take this. Beyonce and Jay-Z didn't want crazy and disrespectful misinformation like this on the internet, or they really did what Jaguar was saying, so they wanted to keep it quiet. Regardless, this only made the situation bigger. And the same day that Piers apologized, Jaguar again went on Real Life Productions for another interview. Again, she was stirring the pot and made an hour's worth of more huge claims, and also spoke on the theory that Jay-Z and Beyonce were involved in the death of Aaliyah.
I want you to think about this. Sean Carter is responsible for enacting Hype Williams to put Aaliyah on a faulty claim to move her out the way as punishment for rejecting him, and so he could level up Beyonce, who was struggling. Let's just say allegedly that happened. Now I want you to think about 106th and Park with Mary J. Blige. Free, who is a victim of Sean Carter. Mary J. Blige, who is a victim of Sean Combs, are sitting there talking about the death of Aaliyah amongst each other. Think about that. You got a Diddy victim, you got a Jay-Z victim, you got a superstar. Oh, they know what happened. And yet, they don't have that conversation like they didn't know who did it. Allegedly.
This TikTok in particular got 15 million views with damn near every comment saying they believe her. Whether or not you believe Jaguar Wright's claims is entirely up to you, but she's been making headlines almost daily for some of the stuff she's saying. More recently, there was a guy named Jason Lee, a podcaster slash YouTuber slash TV guy who was in things like Love and Hip Hop, created Hollywood Unlocked, and has his own podcast called The Jason Lee Show. He made some big claims. He said on his podcast that Jay-Z called him to put out the flames. And he also said, Jay-Z, I know you're watching because you got people calling me. Stop having people call me. You can call me yourself. You know how to get my number. You got people calling me. Call me yourself because this right here is going to go viral. I will tell you, to the audience, if I do come up missing, all the calls I've been getting have been about him. Although I will say that not too many people believe this guy. Someone said risking your life getting killed over some gossip is crazy, LOL. And many others said things like, Jason, nobody believes you. If attention seeking was an actual person, this would be it. Regardless, these theories have been going crazy all over the internet. And with all the clickbaity 40-minute videos that say absolutely nothing, I figured I'd summarize it and give you guys the facts. Beyonce has even lost a couple million followers this year, and many believe it's due to the controversy, while others think that it's just Instagram getting rid of inactive or botted accounts. So whether you love Jay-Z and Beyonce, or you think they are secretly super evil, it's possible that regardless of what you believe, Jay-Z and Beyonce may not be who you think they are. If you're curious about what other celebrities have said about Diddy over the years, since he was heavily linked to these theories, make sure to check out the video that's on screen right now. Other than that, thank you guys for watching. Really appreciate it. Maybe leave a like if you enjoyed, and even consider.
Well, that was interesting.
It's been 9 years since Solange Knowles and Jay-Z's infamous elevator fight, and according to the latest reports, Solange still can't stand her brother-in-law.
It really, really was such a pivotal moment for me.
Rumors are going around that Beyonce's sister Solange still holds a grudge against Jay-Z for cheating on Beyonce, and sources
I
are
call
saying Solange
cap.
never approved of Jay in the first place. So
Let's check this one out.
The rap world is undergoing a reckoning at the moment, as everyone is looking at the dark secrets that are spilling out. With the news that Diddy might be going away for life, people are now questioning who else might be in line to have their private lives exposed, with the terrible things that they've done to others coming to light and potentially ruining their reputation. And at the moment, it's not just one individual under scrutiny, but it's rap's real power couple who are being placed under the microscope, as they are now facing accusations that range from behind-the-scenes political manipulation to even murder. It's your boy Gangsta, and this is the disturbing alleged double life of Jay-Z and Beyonce. During a recent interview with Piers Morgan, R&B singer and conspiracy theorist Jaguar Wright made several allegations. Although she had been brought on the show to discuss the diddler and how she had been calling him out for years, she went majorly off script and started talking about hoes and the former Destiny's Child singer turned megastar.
why there is no vindication for me me because for 4 years I've been screaming, not just Diddy, but Diddy and Jay-Z are monsters, and the
Damn.
victim-making machine kept going on.
When peers pointed out that Hov hadn't responded to all the rumors going around about their friendship after Diddy's arrest, Wright claimed that Jay's underhanded tactics and sneaky ways of avoiding direct involvement have allowed him to stay on top of the industry.
That's what he does. He starts little fires everywhere, forces everyone involved to go and carry water while he sneaks away without a response. That changes now, Sean. You must respond.
Rather than say he was just an accomplice to evil, he said that in reality, Jay was the connective tissue between many of the big names who have been involved in horrific acts.
Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, Robert Kelly, Sean Combs have one person in common, Sean Carter. This has been a fist of tyranny that has been punching through our culture and our society for decades. It must stop.
She even claimed that there are people ready to come forward with their stories, adding fuel to a conspiracy theory that's recently gained a lot of attention. One involving their alleged connection to the tragic death of another prominent R&B artist.
I have 3 victims right now who are willing to give testimony about not only what Mr. Carter has done to them, but his wife as well. They're a nasty little couple. They do nasty things. Keeping people against their will, putting people on planes while they're unconscious, just like Aaliyah got on that plane, unconscious.
Now, if you were looking for that portion of her interview with the British journalist anywhere else on YouTube, you wouldn't find it. Because after she made those comments, Morgan got hit with a cease and desist and was made to censor his allegedly uncensored show.
Well, Jaguar Wright unexpectedly made several serious allegations about Jay-Z and Beyonce during that interview. As I said in the moment, they were not present to respond or defend themselves. But now they have. Their lawyers contacted us to say that those claims were totally false and have no basis in fact, and we therefore comply with the legal request to cut them from the original interview. Editing interviews is not something we do lightly at a show called Uncensored. Like the proverbial cries of fire in a crowded theatre, there are legal limits on us too. We apologise to Jay-Z and
Hell
After
yeah.
it was pulled from air and Morgan has his tail between his legs, their lawyer
They're
Alex
always
Spiro
watching.
labeled the claim as clearly false. There's rumors and then there's nonsense. And this is one step further, he told TMZ. This is a pointed and formal accusation of something. I felt it needed to be responded to. I think somebody reported it was a cease and desist. It wasn't that. It was quite bluntly an ultimatum, which is to remove that false accusation that's demonstrably false, or a court is going to order you to. So I think he made the wise choice and acted accordingly. Some people agreed with their legal team that you couldn't just make claims like this without any consequence. But there were some who felt that this made Jay-Z and Beyonce look way more guilty than they would otherwise, and maybe the damage had been done. Where there's smoke, there's fire. It's too late to edit it out. The internet lives forever. And I mean, they're right. Once you put something onto social media, it takes on a new life of its own. And these days, there's a lot of people who are wondering now if Jay-Z and Beyonce weren't just in cahoots with Puff, but were just as bad as the diddler himself. Because even after the threats of legal action from Jay and Dave's legal team, Jaguar continued to argue that if Diddy was brought to justice, they would be too.
That's always been my focus. They're one and the same. Tell me something. When you have a peanut butter jelly sandwich, if it's just peanut butter, it's just peanut butter. If it's just jelly, it's jelly. When you put it together, it becomes a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and the taste is undeniable.
Saying Diddy and Jay-Z is peanut butter.
Peanut butter and jelly. Let's deal with the sandwich.
As opposed to jumping on the bandwagon, it should be noted that this is definitely the first time that she leveled these claims at Hov and Co. Instead, Jaguar, who sang backing vocals on Jay-Z's Unplugged album, has been claiming that Hov abused her and others for years.
All Carter is just as bad as the diddler, and I know that for a fact. I got the scars to prove it. I know what a box cutter feels like going into your skin and ripping you. I can tell you how it feels. Y'all ain't seen it. That nasty shit, that's nothing. Are you trying to say like Jay-Z put hands on you? I'm saying Sean Carter remembers everything he did to me and he's got it on tape. Just like Diddy. It's gonna be the woman that get him in the end.
Of course, there are some people who would discredit Jaguar Wright. Throughout the years, she has shown signs of instability, such as throwing her son's ashes at people during an argument before smearing them on her own skin.
And my son.
They're all dead. No,
They're all dead. They're all dead. They're all dead.
But as hard as that is to accept, she has been proven right in other ways. From Diddy's secret freak-offs right down to the ingredients of the cocktail that Diddy used to sedate the participants in these events.
It's a veterinary drug. It's a horse tranquilizer. Now, gay men have been using this for years. If you went to a gay party or a gay rave, there were certain drugs that you will always find on hand. Viagra, Special K, and Coke.
But as headline-grabbing as what she has to say is, Wright is ultimately only one voice in the crowd of people who have suggested that there's something seriously warped going on behind the scenes in Hov's life, right down to fellow 90s hip-hop artists like Lord Jamar. According to him, Hov's indiscretions were a lot better disguised than Diddy. But the fact that he started dating Beyonce after meeting her when she was just 17 years old, as well as rumors that he got with Foxy Brown when the rapper was 15 and he was 27, should have rang alarm bells.
You know, I will say that Jay-Z, if he was doing ill like that, he was more quiet about it. You know what I mean? But then, if we be real with ourselves, it was kind of abnormal when he got with Beyonce. Like, she was pretty young when he got with her. There's rumors that he was messing with Foxy Brown when she was pretty young.
Wow.
You know, so there's a lot of those.
That's crazy.
But
it's wild that at the time nobody was saying shit, you know. That's
if you ask
crazy.
Jamar, this situation is scarily common when it comes to these high-powered celebrities, and Jay is just one of many people that he had heard some dark things about.
You know, I'm not gonna lie. When certain people get to a certain level of fame, I don't know why, but you start to hear little about certain people sometimes. If you really think about most of your top celebrities, black celebrities, rappers, I feel like I've heard a rumor damn near about all of them. It could be. Or it could be that motherfuckers got to join a club in order to get to a certain level. Everybody that goes past a certain point, you'll hear a little, have I heard little shit about Jay-Z? Yup.
The whole Foxy Brown situation is one that's had people concerned for a long time. Even when she appeared on her debut album in 1996, the track was recorded 2 years earlier when she was just 15. Then, as her first album emerged when she was 17, it was full of explicit lyrics and had 5 co-writing credits for, you guessed it, Sean Carter. So at this point, Hov and Foxy's relationship seems to be an open secret. Even Jason Lee hinted towards it on a recent IG Live after Puffy's arrest.
And then Diddy, that whole empire crumbling got a lot of y'all scared because your favorite rapper was sleeping with a 15-year-old. But listen, here's the deal.
But when it comes to Jay's questionable behavior around young women, it doesn't end with those he tries to court. Sometimes, he's threatening teenagers just to get their signature on a contract. During an appearance on Tyra Banks' show way back in the day, a 17-year-old Rihanna let it slip that Jay had been a little forceful in convincing her to sign to Def Jam back when he was still at the helm of the label.
Lady said the tourists to leave here. I looked through the door with the jewel sign up through this window, and we're on the 29th floor. The jewel sign up through this window, and we're on the 29th floor. So she was like, where's the pen? Where's the paper? I'm signing. Yeah.
This may have seemed like a lighthearted anecdote from Riri at the time, but considering everything we now know about how the top figures in hip-hop operate, it lands a little different. Particularly when you hear some of the stories about how Jay and Bay have allegedly moved through both the industry and their own secretive lives. The name Kathy Coriana White might not necessarily mean anything to you, but for those who are familiar with the dirt surrounding the Carters, she's one of the most interesting individuals in the whole situation. It was alleged that back in the day, Kathy and Jay-Z were engaged in an affair. Eventually, the press got wind of it and tried to follow up. But then, something horrible happened before the truth could come out. The story comes from former entertainment reporter Liz Crockett, who said that she was on the cusp of blowing the whole thing wide open when tragedy struck. In August of 2011, I was working as a senior editor for Star magazine. My boss asked me to look into online blog reports claiming that a woman named Kathy Coriana White, who friends called Corey, was having an affair with Jay-Z. The blog that reportedly first broke the affair story was published by Hollywood Street King in an article titled Busted: Jay-Z Caught Cheating on Beyonce with Kathy White in August of on the 10th. I managed to get a hold of Kathy at her job in New York over the phone. I then uncovered photos of Kathy hanging out with Jay-Z and Diddy at Tao nightclub in Las Vegas. So I called her back and asked her about the photo evidence that debunked her initial claim that she had never met or hung out with Jay-Z. At this point, Kathy expressed to me that she would consider going public with her story. Days later, I tried to reach her at her work with no luck. I finally got a hold of one of her colleagues, and I asked her if she knew why Kathy had been MIA. Her colleague shockingly told me she's dead. This story has gained plenty of attention over the years, even becoming the focus of a full video by Trap Lord Ross, who hinted that there might be more beneath the surface than we initially thought. But her friend and colleague, Claudia Jordan, has pushed back, and has since tried to debunk the story. Still, it continues to grow arms and legs, with people even theorizing that Ye hinted towards the situation between White and Jay-Z on the infamous track Blood on the Leaves, when he said, "You only want to see that ass in reverse. $2,000 bag with no cash in your purse. Now you sit in courtside, wifey on the other side. Gotta keep them separated. I call that apartheid." Then she says she's pregnant. That's the night your heart died. Now you gotta go to your girl and report that. Main reason, because your pastor said he can't afford that. Obviously, Ye and Kanye have a complex relationship that could be deserving of its own video one day.
That's
But
crazy.
it wouldn't.
So they're saying he's talking about. Says, let's break this down a little bit. So you only want to see that ass in reverse, $2,000 back in your purse. Now you sitting courtside, wifey on the other side. Gotta keep them separated. I call that apartheid. Then she said she pregnant, 80. That's the night your heart died. When you gotta go into your girl and report that. Main reason, because your pastor said you can't abort that.
Main reason, because your pastor said he can't afford that. Obviously, Ye and Kanye have a complex relationship that could be deserving of its own video one day. But it wouldn't exactly be the first time that he blew the whistle on his former mentor and said more than he should have. Because when they had fallen out in the past, Ye seemed to suggest that there was more reasons to be afraid of hoes.
I been sent here to give y'all my truth, even at the risk of my own life, even at the risk of my own success, my own career. Jay-Z called me, boy, you still ain't called me. Jay-Z called me. Hey, Mark, Jay-Z, I know you got killers. Please don't send them out my head. Just call me. Talk to me like a man.
Much like Jaguar Wright, Ye is a man who the media has also labeled as crazy from time to time. So this pretty much went under the radar.
He might have been onto something, especially since Kathy White isn't the only person in their circle to have mysteriously and suddenly passed away.
The plane crash that killed a rising star in the world of music and film. Reaction today after Aaliyah and 8 others were killed when their plane went down.
The tragic death of Aaliyah is one that's grown very shadowy in recent years. For starters, it's recently emerged that the beloved singer wasn't even conscious when she boarded the plane that crashed and claimed her life. They took her out of the van. She didn't even know she was getting boarded on a plane. She went on the plane asleep. And one person who's become increasingly wary of the official story is Dame Dash. To many people, he's the original hater when it comes to Hov, incapable of accepting what went wrong with their friendship at Rockefeller Records. But to many people, he's been seen as the man who was right about Hov all along. In case you didn't know, Dame was dating Aaliyah at the time of her untimely death. But that happened long after Hov had been trying to date her since she was 17, whereas Dame didn't start dating her until she was 21.
I didn't look at her like that because she was like a tomboy. She was little to me. But then one time, she was, I guess we had the same bookkeeper, and I walked past, and the thing about Aaliyah was like every time I saw her, she looked different. So she had different looks every time, and I was like, who the fuck is that?
According to Dame, this was something that stayed with Jay long after his former friend and label co-owner hooked up with her and was the cause of some friction between them.
Everybody knows that shit. Like we were both.
I heard it, but I didn't.
Yeah, but what they be trying to act like he was like really fucking with. Nah, he was sending flowers and doing all this shit that nigga. He was courting her, so we were both going hard. And we ended up in the same house 4th of July. So we, for some reason, this day.
Wait a minute, you, Jay, and Aaliyah ended up.
Oh man.
Ended up in the same house.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So it was like one day it might lean toward him and then it would lean toward me. But I was just on fire that week. Like I was just everything I was saying was funny. You know what I'm saying? It was like, and I remember coming downstairs, like it happened. He was like. I said, this is gonna be hard for me because he was throwing because his friends were laughing at him.
But there was a third man involved in the situation. The individual who had groomed her and married her when she was just 14, R. Kelly. Despite how sick this was, and how much Kelly's behavior was an open secret in the game, Jay went ahead and made 2 collaborative projects with him. Meanwhile, Dame refused to take a dime from them.
I don't want to be a part of that, so I'm not working with you. So I walked away from Weinstein, and then homie didn't do business with him. When it came down to R. Kelly, there was a conversation had about the moralness, like it's morally wrong to do a project with someone that we know raped my girl or raped anybody for that matter. So I do know that conversation was had, and I was really surprised that he moved forward with that relationship. I don't know Epstein, so I never had the chance to walk away from him. But I do know that when that project did come out, I didn't want any part of that project. I didn't want any of the money to go to Rockefeller or me when it came to Rockefeller. It was around the time that Jay was trying to kind of separate himself from us, and he was saying that he didn't want to be a part anymore.
The idea that Hove must have known was echoed by Nas, who seemed to have suggested something similar at the height of his beef with Jay-Z.
You can't tell me Jada see a 14-year-old girl come in the studio and sit on R. Kelly's lap. You can't tell me.
What the fuck? He said, you can't tell me Jay didn't see a 14-year-old girl coming into the city or...
Tell me Jada see a 14-year-old girl come in the studio and sit on R. Kelly's lap. You can't tell me that he ain't never seen no 14-year-old girl come in the vicinity. You seen it go down. Yes. I've been around R. Kelly. I've been on a tour with him. I didn't see no 14-year-old, but I talked to the man and I've seen there's a little problem there.
In the years that have passed since Aaliyah's tragic death, Dame has increasingly wondered if someone had something to gain from her passing away. And in recent years, people have felt that Jay and Beyonce are among those who...
Oh, shit.
From her passing away. And in recent years, people have felt that Jay and Beyonce are among those who might have had a hand in it, or at least had something to gain from her passing, including Jaguar White.
By the way, wasn't this all around the time when Aaliyah died?
Yeah.
And Beyonce's solo career was struggling? Damn on your horn now, that fucking bullshit ass record. From the Austin Powers shit, was some of the worst shit out. They were having a hard time taking her solo, and then Aaliyah died.
While Dame has never explicitly said that Hove was the man involved, he has basically said that it's now up to his former friend and others to make it clear that there's no foul play.
I know that there are people that benefited from her death, but for me, when I hear these conspiracies, I'm like, how could they be that powerful that they could get a plane or someone to crash a plane? Like, I don't want to say I'm underestimating people, but I don't give people, like, that's like, yo, that's the most illest gangster shit, some Pablo Escobar, you could actually get a plane to crash. And then a lot of rumors about me, like I sacrificed her and some dumb shit like that, all those things. It's hard to, like, I don't want to believe that, but it does make me think it through, So again, in this moment, just because there's so much gray area on a legal level, not what I'm suspecting, but like, this shit is now real. Or if it isn't real, people are going to have to prove that it's not real.
But he hasn't shied away from making some pretty wild claims about Hove that echo some things that you might have been hearing about Diddy. During a particularly shocking interview, Dame Dash alleged that Jay followed in Diddy's footsteps and spiked his drinks after a show.
There was this one time when my daughter was 16, Jay had a show, and my daughter wanted to go. So I'm like, yo, I'm not going to deprive my daughter. So, I hollered at Jay, sent the kite, and told him I wanted to go to a show with my daughter, and they accommodated me to the fullest. People were really surprised to see me there, took pictures with everybody. And again, that means my brother, so I would hate to think that he was fucking around like that, pause. But he kept asking me something. That was the first time I had tasted that Douce, and I got ridiculously drunk to the extent, and my daughter and I were talking about this the other day, that I was like, yo, I don't get this drunk. Why am I so drunk? And I ended up wrestling with Kevin Hart. Paul nigga got me a chicken wing, and I remember Vaughn taping that shit. I'm like, yo, why you taping, Vaughn? So I'm thinking, I'm like, damn, because homie makes drinks too. And again, just if this is true, these are the things that I'm like just reflecting on. And if I wouldn't have played everything completely by the book, complete honor, then I could have been compromised.
For the most part, we've been focusing on Jay-Z. In a lot of ways, it makes sense that he's the one who's been on the front lines of the industry for almost 30 years, pulling strings and hustling his way to $1 billion. Generally, you don't get that rich without getting your hands a little dirty. So, does Beyonce have similar skeletons in her closet? Well, these days, people are beginning to think so. Recently, the video of Kanye's VMA escapade with Taylor Swift has been doing the rounds again on social media. But instead of the usual narratives about him stealing a young girl's thunder, people are now suggesting that he actively saved Taylor. Because the theory goes that if she hadn't given Beyonce any credit, it could have gone south for her. Check this out.
Beyonce, whoo! You changed my life. You sang that gospel medley, and the way you made me feel, I was like, I want to make people feel this way with my music. So thank you so much. You clearly are the artist of our lives. Hey, artist of my life is Beyonce in this album for me. I appreciate that. And all us artists here, we fucking adore you. You are our light. And I love you. I always have, and I always will.
Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time.
That's crazy.
For Ye fans, this whole scenario has been a real layup, as it means that people are posting positive comments about him for a change. But even if there's nothing to really substantiate that theory, it doesn't change the fact that she has lost 4 million followers since March 2024. If you're keeping tabs, that's around the same time that things started to get wild with Diddy's case. And just as Jaguar White has been going at Hove, there are people inside Beyonce's inner circle who have suggested that there's darkness underneath the surface there as well. Identifying himself as her former bodyguard, a TikToker who goes by the name of Uncle Ron has started sharing some wild stories about Beyonce and Hove, only for those TikToks to also be taken down. For one thing, he said that she had a pretty severe addiction, and this was for Hove's benefit.
See, hardly nobody knows, but I'll say it, man. Yeah, Beyonce's on drugs. She been on them for a long time, and you keep her that way. Y'all wish it what you wish it to stay on top. But there's one thing about me, bro. I can't be bought.
In a separate video, he threatened to expose them, claiming that they might take drastic action to silence him with the kind of dirt he had on them, including but not limited to them ending other R&B singers' careers and even their relationship being a sham.
Beyonce and Jay-Z will do anything to destroy anyone who speaks out against them. Hey, I get the threats, but you have to remember one thing. I know your deepest secrets. I know so much about you and what you've done. I know so much on how you got where you are, how you stepped on many people. Beyonce, how you guys ended Carrie Hilson's career because she said something about you. That's how hateful you guys are. How you step on anybody to stay on the top. So remember, your relationship was a business relationship, financial, to get to the top, to become billionaires. There's no love there.
From there, Uncle Ron continued, claiming that he would drop evidence if they ever challenged him.
Remember, all the receipts, all the proof, the old school footage, I still have it.
Now, it's hard to validate if a lot of what he's saying is fact, but there are comments from Carrie Hilson from years ago where she tries to explain why she disappeared from the music industry
That's
for
crazy.
7
Where did Carrie Hilson go?
years after shading Beyonce on the track Turn It On. Although she didn't go too much into detail, it's clear that there were repercussions for that.
It's the price you pay, when you're early in your career, you feel that you have to listen. And when you buck, they buck harder and they make threats. And those threats are huge ones. And you know what I mean? You don't feel like you have a choice. I really didn't feel like I had a choice. It was do this or this will happen. And I'm young, I'm early 20s, and I'm like, they're like, sing this song. You don't have it, you're here for a couple hours, I go to town. It's that. It's the whole, if you don't, then blank. So you learn, though. You learn to fight harder. I didn't have enough fight in me I was maybe 20, 21. I didn't have enough fight in me.
But the whole thing gets even crazier. Because unfortunately, just months after unveiling his TikToks about Jay and Beyonce, Uncle Ron's family would take to his TikTok to announce that he had passed away. Let's make this clear. No one is saying that Hove and Beyonce did anything. After all, he could have died of natural causes. But when you consider everything that's emerged as of late, you can bet that this sure isn't going to stop the conspiracy theories from coming. And who knows? If any of this is true, they might end up in a cell right alongside Diddy.
That's crazy.